Quick question, you've probably eaten sushi, watched the anime, or seen Fuji on internet. So you know Japan, right? What you know is the lobby. But behind it sits a country so layered, so contradictory, so quietly extraordinary, that historians can't fully explain it, economists can't fully predict it, and travelers can't fully forget it. The real Japan, the one built on samurai discipline and atomic devastation on zero natural resources and a $4 trillion economy. That Japan is what this video is about. Japan is an archipelago, a chain of islands sitting off the eastern coast of Asia, stretching from subtropical Okinawa in the south all the way up to Hokkaido in the north. Japan is made up of 6,852 islands. Yes, 6,852, and most of them are uninhabited. But four main islands, Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, carry the bulk of Japan's 125 million people. One statistic explains Japan better than anything else. 123 million people, 27% of the land. That's it. That's the whole story. Every bullet train, every skyscraper, every perfectly engineered convenience store. All of it is the result of 125 million people refusing to be defeated by the 73% of their country that is literally unmovable mountain. Japan didn't get a good hand. Japan just plays better than everyone else. You cannot talk about Japan's geography without mentioning Mount Fuji, a 3,776 meters of perfectly symmetrical, snow-capped volcanic glory. Fuji is not just a mountain, it's a national symbol, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the subject of millions of selfies every year. And yes, Fuji is an active volcano. It last erupted in 1707, and scientists say it's due for another eruption. When that happens, ash clouds could reach Tokyo in hours. Japan has essentially built its most important city in the shadow of a sleeping giant. Classic Japan energy. Japan experiences 4 distinct seasons, and the Japanese don't just observe them, they live inside them. Each season has its own food, its own festivals, its own aesthetic, its own reason to stop everything and pay attention. No country on Earth has turned the calendar into a cultural event quite like Japan. Spring arrives like a gentle explosion. Cherry blossom season, called Hanami, is practically a national holiday of the soul. People schedule vacations around it. Companies rearrange meetings. Families travel hundreds of miles just to sit under blooming sakura trees and eat boxed lunches. While the rest of the world checks the weather for rain, Japan tracks the Sakura Zensen, the cherry blossom front. It lasts 2 weeks. 14 days of breathtaking, heart-stopping beauty. And then, it's gone. The Japanese have a word for this feeling, mono no aware. The bittersweet ache of beautiful things ending. Summer is Japan's villain arc. July and August bring heat and humidity so suffocating that the government issues official heat stroke warnings like weather forecasts. The record high national average temperature from June to August was 2.36 degrees hotter than the average temperature. The highest temperature ever recorded in Japan was 41.8 degrees Celsius in Ezasaki City, Gunma Prefecture. Gion Matsuri is Japan's most famous festival, held every July in Kyoto since 869 CE, making it over 1,150 years old. It started as a religious ritual to stop a deadly plague, and it worked well enough that Japan never stopped doing it. Over 1 million people visit during the month-long celebration, making it one of the most attended festivals of Asia. Then autumn arrives, and Japan pulls off something that shouldn't be possible. It makes you forget summer ever happened. Koyo, the Japanese tradition of admiring autumn foliage, is Hanami's quieter, more contemplative sibling. Maple trees turn violent shades of crimson and gold. Temple gardens in Kyoto look like oil paintings that haven't dried yet. The Japanese even have a word, momijigari, literally red leaf hunting, for traveling specifically to find the most spectacular autumn colors. Winter in Japan is 2 countries in one. Hokkaido buries itself under 6 meters of snow, while the Sapporo Snow Festival draws 2 million visitors to watch buildings carved entirely from ice in -10-degree temperatures. At the exact same time, Okinawa sits at a comfortable 17 degrees with palm trees and open beaches. These 2 extremes sit just 2,000 kilometers apart, yet the climate difference between them is greater than the difference between Iceland and Morocco. Same country, same season, completely different world.
.9 magnitude. Now we know that's a big number. It was the 5th largest earthquake in history. But you can only really understand the enormity when you see these pictures. An earthquake so strong it literally shifted the Earth's axis by about 25 centimeters.
That tsunami reached 23 feet high in some places, nearly twice the height.
Most countries fear earthquakes. Japan has stopped fearing them entirely. Not because they aren't dangerous, but because when you average 4 earthquakes per day, fear becomes impractical. Japan doesn't just experience earthquakes. Japan is essentially the earthquake capital of the world. On January 1st, 2024, a powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Japan's Noto Peninsula, unleashing intense shaking that lasted over 5 minutes. The quake triggered massive landslides, tsunamis up to 4 meters high, and widespread destruction, claiming at least 500 lives amid collapsed homes and infrastructure. Japan rebuilt its coastline, its towns, and its nuclear policy from scratch. But the most remarkable rebuilding wasn't the seawalls or the roads. It was the people. Communities that lost everything, that lost everyone, that stood in front of nothing where their homes used to be, and went back to work. Not because they had to, because that is simply what you do in Japan. You assess the damage, you bow your head, and then you rebuild. Every single time, without exception, without drama, without asking whether it's worth it. And in all that difficulty, a civilization found its character.